Happening, people of the world. Hope everybody's on. Welcome to the first live I've done. My prepping people, my patriots. Hope you can all hear me well. Let's see. Okay. A few bits and pieces of news I just want to comment on real fast. Give me a couple seconds here. Let's see. Go there. I hope that microphone is working well. First time I used it. This particular mic, anyway. So, yes, just wanted to go over a couple of things here that's actually in the news. Guess we can start off with The Guardian. The Guardian says New York health officials report at least 5 cases of Omicron variant. Officials say positive tests suggest variant is undergoing community spread in the city, but say there's no cause for alarm. Multiple cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in New York, health officials said Thursday, including a man who attended an anime convention in Manhattan in late November and tested positive for the variant when he returned home to Minnesota. In addition to the conventioner, health officials said tests show 5 other people recently infected with the COVID-19 had the variant. They included a person in the city's Long Island suburbs who had recently traveled to South Africa, residents of Brooklyn and Queens, and another case possibly linked to the travel. "Quote unquote, no cause for alarm. We just want to make sure that the public is aware of the information when we receive it." Now, here's my thing. I'm trying to figure out how they are determining the difference in this one variant and the previous variant. That's my thing. Like, how are they determining the difference? Because I know with the previous variant, there are people who were being diagnosed with it and they had no idea how the doctors or the health experts that diagnosed them were actually determining the difference. I even had one guy say that, oh, it's just basically what was being reported in his area at the time. I don't know. But I do believe they are trying to use this to basically bring more lockdowns. I do believe that. They just can't jump up and just, say, okay, lockdown. They kind of have to have a few reasons to, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I'm just, I'm very skeptical of everything, but especially when things don't make sense. I've always been that type of person, like, it has to make sense to me after I research, after I, even pray on it. I mean, it has to make sense to me. And none of this is adding up. I don't know about you all, but and you who are looking, you feel free to comment. Uh, but yeah, I, I I knew it wouldn't be long. I knew it wouldn't be long before something like this happens again. And obviously, it's not the first time. It probably won't be the last time that another so-called variant, you know, bullies its way into the country, from another country, or who's to say where the next one may originate from. But hey, the first one, I was skeptical. I was prepared. But let me tell you this. If you watch my other video today, I always say this: fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So if you're still falling for it, I'm gonna tell you this: you really have to look at yourself. Like, you can no longer blame anyone else. I mean, you can't. All the blame can't even be on. All I can blame. What is it? Isn't it in 4 states? Hey, it for now, yes. Tomorrow it may be 8 states. It may be 15 states. Who knows? Who knows? But they say crown of wisdom. First of all, I appreciate you joining. Woohoo! I made it live. Yeah, this is my first one. So if you watch my videos, you see I just kind of come at people as as honest as I possibly can. Um, According to what I see in the news, I don't believe everything. I have to do my own research. Hopefully you all are doing the same. But crown of wisdom, are you prepared if there's another lockdown? That would be my question. Because as I said, if you weren't prepared before, hey, now's the time. You've had plenty of time to get prepared. We've all had plenty of time to get prepared. But that's just one of the stories. That's one of the stories. So they say it's no cause for alarm. We just want to make sure that the public is aware of information when we receive it. Yeah, right. Okay. I see that. New York City's Mayor Bill de Blasio said the geographic spread of the positive test suggests that the variant was undergoing community spread, quote unquote, in the city and wasn't linked to any one event. The news came a day after the U.S. announced its first case of the variant had been detected in California. Of course, it always, for the most part, most things, not everything, but most things kind of start in California, New York. I guess that's their hotbeds, or I guess where they feel that's where they'll get the most attention from those two states because of the media coverage, I'm assuming. And a person who had recently traveled to South Africa, officials reported another case Thursday in a Colorado woman who had recently traveled to Southern Africa. Okay. So basically, well, one thing I didn't get is they didn't close the borders immediately. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for congratulating me. Oh, someone, Candice Michelle, says I made it. One of my moderators, I appreciate it. But if another lockdown happens with supply shortages, we will see unrest. Yeah, we will. We are. I mean, first of all, everything to me right now is manufactured chaos. Manufactured chaos. Like, every single thing you see, I don't care if you're watching TV and someone stumbles and falls, it's going to be manufactured chaos over that. But I just don't I don't know what to really tell people now, because I've told them everything. Everyone I've approached on my videos, whatever, It's out there. Like it's out there that what they're trying to do. I mean, if you can't see it now, hey, I don't know what to tell you at this point. All I can do is just really pray at this point. That's it. But that's not the only interesting story I saw today. Now, LeBron James, some people call him King James, some people call him Queen James, whatever you like. Uh, he actually supposedly tested positive. And then he put out a tweet saying basically he thinks something fishy is going on. Well, since then, and we don't know if that's if that's what the tweet was about, but it was just a coincidence that it happened after he tested positive. Talking about LeBron James here. Now, it turns out, according to this article here, that, and this article is probably a few hours old, the Washington Post, LeBron James cleared to return after false positive test. I'm not going to say the C word. I don't want to trigger too much here, but Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James has been cleared to return to the court after a false positive test landed him on the NBA's health and safety protocol earlier this week. Right? So here's the thing. LeBron James is one of those people that you don't want him coming out against the agenda. That would not look good for them. If LeBron James comes out and says, hey, you know what? Something's not right about this. Because a lot of people, believe it or not, actually listen to LeBron James, right? So now all of a sudden it's a false positive. Okay. I mean, if you want to believe that, but that they know that they can't really have certain people speaking out against them. Now, if LeBron James would have came out earlier and probably not put out that tweet, nothing else probably wouldn't happen. There wouldn't have been no report of a false positive test or any of that. It is what it is, right? Crown of wisdom. My husband is preparing because he realizes things aren't the same. Yeah, they're not the same. They are not the same. And honestly, for those who think things will get back to where they used to be, let's say from 2019 and prior, it's not going to ever be the same again. And I mean that in different ways. I mean, it's never going to be the same as far as society again, but the trust that we have in our leaders, quote unquote leaders, it would never be the same again. Like there were a few leaders out there you thought you could trust, but will you ever trust them again? That's the thing. See, exactly. We'll never go back to normal. I don't care if everything, as far as the economy, as far as just everything, the schooling system, everything could look normal. But up here, we're never going to be normal again. Never. Because they basically, the quote unquote leaders and the elites, they showed their hand now. It's too late. Can't go back. You know, once you're playing cards, if you've ever played cards or poker, whatever, and once you lay your hand out and people see it, it's too late. You can't retract it and put it back and act like no one's ever seen it. They've already seen what card you have in your hand. You know, and that's what they've done. So there's no erasing it now. They can try to smooth talk, give all the political, jargon, whatever. It's not going to work anymore. Is it New York trying to push if you're pinched? Isn't New York trying to push if you're pinched, no buying? Not quite understanding that question there. What is New York doing now? Correct, not pinch, no buying. I'm not for sure exactly. They're doing so much up there in New York, man. They really are. I mean, New York's one of those states that, like I said, it's always going to be the mecca of everything. They're always going to start in New York, or like I said earlier, if not New York, California, because you have the main state, I guess, that's on the East Coast, the main state that's on the West Coast. You have media coverage. Every time anything happens in New York or California, it's going to explode in the media. It's going to freaking explode. Now, if the same thing happened in Kansas, no one's going to get much attention. I mean, no one's going to care about that. No one's going to care about it. But they're testing universal income. I believe that. Universal income. Let me tell you what, all it's going to do is make people lazier than what they already are. Like everything, because you have a certain amount of people who believe that everything should be given to them anyway. And don't get me wrong, if you have a physical or mental limitations, I can understand you. Okay, you know what? I can't do certain things, so that's one thing. But everyone else, you're physically and mentally able to go out and work or start a business and successfully run a business. You shouldn't be worried about no universal income. It's basically they're trying to make everyone dependent upon the government is what they're doing. Because if the government controls everything, guess what? People are going to do whatever they want. People are going to bow and submit to them. They're trying to make everyone be part of the so-called beast system. The beast system. Crime has risen in majority of states. Yeah, like I said, that's what they want. It's manufactured chaos. They want that. They want to cause division, and they want everyone to just basically start acting out on all of their criminalistic thoughts. That's what they want. And the problem with that is, if it keeps happening, it may give them a reason to maybe do a martial law type of thing, I think what it is. Or basically the military comes in and just kind of takes over. That's what they want, but they just can't come out and do it. They want to have reason. Exit the matrix. That's the solution. Yeah, that is the solution right there. That is the solution. But you have to be ready for that, because you still got people out there believe that everything the government tells them is right. That every law or bill that's passed is for their best intention. And it hasn't been that way for a while, a long time. Right now, you could say the current administration is at fault. You can even go back to the previous administration. And I know there are a lot of people, who voted for the previous president administration. I'm one of them. But do I believe that he was perfect? No. Do I believe if he come back right now, he will save the day? No. No one political figure is going to come back and just save to get us out of this. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. That's just the way I see it. But yeah, you got to exit the matrix. That's the thing. That is the thing. Something else that came to mind just now. Speaking of New York, the former was it the governor Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, well, his brother Chris Cuomo is I guess suspended from CNN for helping out his brother. Here's the weird part about that. CNN, they're basically trained their employees to basically support a Democratic Party candidate or Democratic Party official and support them no matter what. Through the good, through the bad, doesn't matter if they're lying, if they're telling the truth, doesn't matter. That's what they've been doing. They've been putting propaganda out, making people believe that side is everything, the other side is nothing. So what I'm trying to say here is Chris Cuomo, he's actually just doing what he's been trained to do, is support the Democratic Party no matter what. Support the far left no matter what. That's what he's doing. So he's basically suspended or I guess he's still suspended, or I don't know if they just completely terminated him. I'm not sure. Last I checked, he was suspended. But brother used his power to help Cuomo. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what they've been doing. Everyone at that network has been using their power to help certain political figures. So at the end of the day, he's just really doing what he's been trained to do. Like that's his job. With that network, they probably have a list of political figures, and they're like, okay, these are the people we're going to support. No matter what they do, we're going to support them. So I don't feel sorry for the guy, but all I'm saying is he's basically got suspended for doing what he's been trained to do, what his particular employer has taught him to do. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but that's what he's doing. But and at the same time, you can't get mad for. I mean, how many of us wouldn't help out a brother, our flesh and blood in that situation? Do I agree with what Andrew Cuomo did? No. I mean, if you sexually harass or allegedly or sexually harass or rape someone, whatever, yeah, you should face whatever's coming to you. You really should. But he's not gonna. I mean, because of his position, he's not gonna sit there and just be quiet when his brothers, when his brothers in hot water. He's not gonna. He's not gonna just sit there and not say anything. Yeah, I can't listen to the news because it's controlled. Yeah, that's all it is. They put out a bunch of propaganda. Like, let me tell you this: if another country wanted to come and overtake the United States, they wouldn't do it by force. Because if you look at our military, you look at the citizens of the United States of America, the people, we the people, and with our Second Amendment, if you add all that together, physically there is no country or combination of countries more powerful than us. When we're on one accord, when we the people are together. So the only way you can do that, only way any country can actually come and overtake us is to cause division. And they do that by propaganda. Your CNNs, your MSNBCs, CBS, things like that. Oh, and Fox News is not in the clear, by the way, because they come out as being like on the side of we the people, but there are some things they're doing behind the scenes that they're just they're kind of going along with it. See, Candace, it's so much corruption. I've been watching the Maxwell trial. That's just a sad situation right there. I'm sorry. To me, that's just evil at its best. The Maxwell trial, that is just so evil at its best. And they're still trying to, they're still trying to make it a political thing. Because I was reading an article the other day. The first thing they said was, oh, Epstein invited Trump and Bill Clinton. Basically, they went out there. Which, not saying they didn't. They could have. But I'm pretty sure there are other people too. You can tell the people they want to really just kind of throw under the bus. Their names come up first. Doesn't sound like we for ourselves, not the people. Doesn't it sound like we for? Yeah. And that's the thing. We got to get back to those three words. We the people. Just like our so-called forefathers. What did they say? It was said many times. It's even in certain songs. United we stand, but divided we fall. And you're seeing that right now. Like you're seeing it live and in color right now. United we stand, divided we fall. I don't know why people they're using everything against us. Propaganda through the media. Every time I look at a news story, and I don't watch news anymore. I can't tell you when's the last time I watched CNN. I think the last time I actually watched CNN was, I think I turned it on there for a bit last year back on election night, when I start figuring out, something's not quite right. Doesn't matter who you voted for. Something wasn't quite right about that election. We know that. We all got cheated out of that one. I don't care if you voted for the redhead guy and the other guy who's a traitor that was with him, Pence, or I don't care if you voted for Grandpa Joe and the side chick. It doesn't matter who you voted for. We all got cheated. because we'll never know what really happened. You just never know. Our country's divided for sure. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you think it's been the past year and a half, 2 years? Trust me, they've been working on this for decades. Decades. Freaking decades. It's just all coming together right now. If you do your research and you see certain things happen that happened 40 years ago, people predicted certain things happening right now 40 years ago. I don't think it's a coincidence that they predicted that. I think it was one of the presidents that was it Gerald Ford maybe that predicted that there would be a Democratic president and the vice president would be a woman. And at some point that president they would invoke basically the 25th Amendment to get him out. And then they'll promote the female vice president to president. And that's how you get your first female president. I think Gerald Ford said that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm probably about 90% sure. I saw a video clip of him saying that. But he didn't just wake up one morning and just kind of figure that out. That's been the plan. Even I was watching the documentary on I think it was like a little mini series. They used to call it mini series. I think it's called limited series now on the Reagans. At the end of one of the episodes, there's one of them who can come out and beat Reagan. Even back then, they were talking about Biden. Back then in the early 80s, which lets you know how long this guy's been around and still haven't accomplished much. That's all that told me, or confirmed, basically. We already knew that. Yes, they've been agreed on this agenda. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, here's the biggest thing. One, we're weak when it comes to, this is a God-loving, God-fearing country. And even though we're a God-loving, God-fearing country, that's not saying that we don't love other people who, this is a Christian nation, basically. And that's not saying that we don't love other people who don't believe in Christianity, because we love all. But that's where we're weak at. That's one of our biggest problems. The second biggest problem is we become so comfortable with freedom that we think no one or nothing can ever take it away from us. I mean, that is huge. Like it's crazy. We become so comfortable with it. It's kind of like a kid becoming so comfortable with their parents paying bills for them. And then when they finally move out and have to pay bills on their own, it's a rude awakening. I've experienced that. And it's kind of where we are right now. Our freedoms, even that right now, people thinking, no, there's nowhere in the world we could ever become a communist country. No, it can't happen. Why not? Why not? Why can't it happen? Because little by little, that's the thing about communism. It just doesn't happen overnight, at the snap of the finger. It's little by little by little, each day, each month, each year, little by little, they pour a little bit more in. They bring a little bit more in, via, mainstream media, via certain elected officials. I call them low people in high places. They bring it in little by little, with elections. Yeah, I said that. Like I said, it doesn't matter who you voted for. There are people that were in Venezuela living in the United States right now, and they're saying the same thing happened in Venezuela. They saw it with their own eyes in living color. But yet, we the people, a lot of Americans, let's put it that way, we don't think that could ever happen. We don't think it could ever happen to us. But yeah, that's a couple of things there. Is something else. Oh, they have these mandates going on, and a lot of cities, especially when it comes to the fire departments, police staff, the city governments, they have to basically get that jab before a certain day. And I was looking here in this article here in Houston. It's actually the Houston Public Media. And what I'll do is I'll try to come back and leave these links if possible, so you can see them. You all can see them. But it says that Houston's fire and police staff have the lowest jab. I'm gonna just say the jab compliance rates among city employees, record shows. City employees have had over 6 weeks to comply with the mayor's jab order. And the mayor in Houston, Sylvester Turner, which I cannot believe I used to root for that guy. I remember back when he first got in, I was so happy, like, yeah, let's go. Now it's like, yeah, nasty. Nearly 3 months after Mayor Sylvester Turner signed an executive order requiring Houston's 21,000 city employees to get the COVID jab, receive a medical or religious exemption, or submit basically tests every 2 weeks. Compliance with the order varies widely among the departments. It says just over 60% of the Houston firefighters had either had the jab, submitted test results, or received an exemption as of November 15th, the lowest rate of any city department. See, that's the thing is, and that's still high. I don't know if that's actually true. I'm not believing these numbers. I think for me being a salesperson, one of the way to sell something is what they call it FOMO, fear of missing out. So if you make everybody think that, oh, everyone's getting it, maybe it should make you want to go run and get it too. So that's why I think when they're reporting 60% here, 80% there, 90% there, honestly, I don't believe that. I really don't. But look like the police officers and certain other employees in the city of Houston, they're not really complying. Not really complying at all. But so, I mean, you can't blame them. I mean, I don't think he's been as strict as some others, because some others are like, they're not accepting religious exemptions or anything. It's just straight up, you get the jab or you're gone. Well, here's this guy, and it's probably going to come to that. Mayor Turner, and I would also say what's the little lady they call Dora the Explorer? The county judge, I forget her name. Little young looking lady, looked like she's about 9 years old or something. I can't remember her name, but yeah, those two, I don't even want to get on them because they're ridiculous. They are freaking ridiculous. I can't believe I even any point in the past actually voted for them or rooted for them. I must have been out of my entire mind back then. Trust me. Yeah, it's like a frog in hot water. Exactly. Little at a time. Little at a time. It will come to the point of no excuse, whether religious or medical. Yeah. And it's already like that, in certain areas, certain states right now, certain cities. Either you get the jab or you hit. That's the thing. People always say trust the science. Let me tell you this. True science is open. True science is fluid. What I mean by that is true science doesn't say it's this way and nothing else. That's not true science. That's one of the first things you learn about science going all the way back to when you're in elementary school. True science is not saying this is it and nothing else. Like, when did that start? Well, I know where it started. It started with the quote unquote highest paid government official, the guy that runs the NIH. I'm not going to say his name, but the guy who I guess calls himself a doctor who's been in charge of that NIH since like 1984. You know where I'm going. And the other guy, the Billy the Nerd, I don't know. That guy must have didn't get a hug or something from his daddy or something when he was growing up. I don't know what's going on. That guy, I don't know, man. For some reason, when I see these faces, I just see evil. But that's just me. But our government ain't pushing it. And here's the thing. I remember that so-called doctor, the highest paid federal employee right now, when they asked him earlier this year, even going back to last year, they asked him, it's like, will the government mandate, the federal government mandate the jab? And what he said was, quote unquote, we're not going to necessarily be the ones mandating it. That's what he said. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's almost, I want to say that's almost exactly what he said. almost verbatim. But and what that means is they won't necessarily be the ones mandating it, but they're going to force employers to mandate it. Like they're basically telling the employers, you don't have to mandate it, but if you don't, we're going to fine you. Which, I mean, that's not much of a choice, you know. And then there are certain employers that, even though in their area it's not necessarily mandated right now, but they're mandating it as a company, as a private company. They're mandating it. Those are the ones that are just ignorant. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you gotta pay very close attention to what's being said. Very close attention. They've been trying to do this for years. I mean, decades. Decades. They just finally found the opportune time and the reason. That's exactly what happened. I don't know. It's crazy. But I'm actually enjoying this live thing. I'm glad the people you all who are here and who have been here. I'm definitely glad you all came through. So I would probably do more of these, at least one a week, maybe two a week, I would say. I don't want to overdo it, but I would definitely probably do about two of these per week, if not three, just to let it be known. We got to get the truth out there some kind of way. And we all need to speak up. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are people who are in who are certain elected officials that disagree with what's going on. But the problem with that is, I believe some people are afraid for their careers, afraid for their lives, afraid for their families' lives if they speak out. So they just play the game. And then you have others which I think are the majority or of the quote unquote leaders, they're enjoying playing the game. They welcome it. But, hopefully everyone sees that. I appreciate the live. Thank you. Oh yeah. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for dropping by. I guess I was gonna say sitting on my couch, but nah, I'm not gonna say that. It might not be appropriate. Thanks for coming through. I hope you enjoyed. And please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I mean, please do. And that Crown of Wisdom, I think you may have already had that. Your name looks familiar. I don't forget names when I see them. So I love that name, by the way, Crown of Wisdom. I love that. But yeah, those are just a few things I want to talk about tonight. What's this, Thursday? I may be back on maybe Saturday. Saturday sounds like a good day to come back on and do another live, and hopefully we definitely have more people on then. But yeah, I definitely appreciate it. I want to say God bless you to you all. Stay prayerful. Always remember, we do have a Lord and Savior in Jesus. That's bottom line. That's it. And we're on, I always tell people this: we're on the winning team. We can't lose. You got a lot of people wake up every morning thinking, "Oh, I don't know what to do. What's going to happen next?" You can't live in fear. If you live in fear, you've already lost. You've already lost. Anyways, and as far as prepping, let me tell you this. Make sure you have everything you need. If you don't know where to go and get your prepping essentials, watch some of the previous videos I've done. I've been to a few different places, actually several different places where you can actually go and prep, get your foods and your tools and your accessories and whatever you may need. Boomsticks, freedom seeds, whatever you may need. Just get it while you can, because either it's not going to be there, or if it is there, it's going to be, the price is going to be through the roof at some point. Because I've seen several times where they say 2022 is going to be the year of inflation, and it's already starting before 2022. But once 2022 2022 hits, say that 3 times. 2022, 2022. Once 2022 hits, people are predicting inflation is going to be through the roof. So let's see. Keep up on furthering your channel. We need to hear this. Maybe develop a community. Yeah, that's a good idea. We need that. We definitely need that. Maybe I may try to do some. Hopefully, I can maybe do some lives with some other preppers and people who believe the same, so we can all come together on one accord and let everybody know there are people out there who still believe, in freedom, still believe in liberty, who still believe in the Constitution. There are people out there who believe that every white person is not a racist. Every black person is not a racist. Every black person is not a victim. There are people who, don't believe in certain groups out there that are destroying the country. There's always a riot or some kind of gathering that destroying things. There are people out there who don't believe that in those groups. There are people out there that still believe that we should not fear the government. The government should fear us. Like, we're still out there. We just need to come together and speak up more. So that's where we are on that. But anyways, thank you all for joining. I've been on here how long? Probably a little over 40 minutes. Thank you all for joining. I definitely appreciate it. Continue to come back. And like I said, I'll probably let you all know that the next one's going to be Saturday evening. Tim, I hope I get the last name right. Tim, is it Sheneman? I hope I didn't butcher your last name. Sheneman. I don't believe in RRD. You know what? I'm before I go, I'm gonna comment on that. Let me tell you this. As a and I hate to put race into it, but as a black man in America, it's like we're taught without any research, without any reason at all, we're taught that you should automatically be on the D side. Not the R side, but the D side. But then when you start doing your research and figure out that there's not really much of a difference, they always try to use race as part of it. Well, racism comes from all sides and everywhere. It's not one particular race that's more racist than the other. I hope people realize that. Like, you know why? Because we are all susceptible to sin. And sin knows no color, knows no race, knows no ethnicity. It doesn't. So I hope people realize that. Because if you're watching mainstream media, they're going to make you think one side is doing something a little more shady than the other. They're all the same. They're all riding on the same yacht, which is probably the same yacht that's paid by all of our tax dollars. That yacht. Anyway, yeah, same snake. No political. Exactly. No political party. I mean, that's how they divide us. They've been using that for years. Republican versus Democrat. Red versus blue. Right versus left. It's crazy, man. One thing I said is this whole super flu, let's call it that, Epstein's yacht. we don't want to be on that one. No, but yeah, that's probably where they all were. More than likely, I mean, that's where they were. Yeah, partying it up in a very foul and evil way. Sad. And that's where our focus should be, on that, on child trafficking. That's where our focus should be at. But no, they're not worried about that. And they're quote unquote worried about our health. First of all, if you're really worried about our health, let's put it this way: more people have died from sugar and salt than any virus could ever kill. But they haven't banned sugar yet, have they? They haven't banned salt yet, have they? And supposedly the FDA will probably have the authority to do that. And maybe even the CDC, I don't know. But They haven't done it, but they're so concerned about this. The same government that literally they had to be sued in order to put cancer warnings on tobacco products, but they're so concerned about our health. Okay, if you believe that, go ahead. If you believe that. Anyways, been on here 45 minutes. I appreciate you all for joining. Once again, God bless. And if you watch my videos, how do I end? Get ready. Stay ready. God bless.